let's switch over. So we're going to transition from your education and now into your career. So a big part of why we're here today. So you finished law school. You have that law degree, a license to practice, a wife, and me as an infant. Where do you go now? What happens next?
Well, that takes me to one of my darkest times in my lifetime as a person that wanted to make something out of yourself. I did everything I wanted to do. I got my license. I got my education. Now I have a family. Now I want to come home. Always wanted to come home. So I got my results on like a Wednesday. Thursday, I was heading back to Carrizo Springs. I wanted to come back to the place that made me who I was. But when I got here, I have my license. This is in 1980, late 1982, beginning of 1983. So I get to town, can't get a job. I have no money, can't borrow money. I'm tired of asking my parents for stuff, so I'm going to do it on my own. So we rented a house in Carrizo Springs, I hung my license, couldn't get a job, didn't have any money to buy paper, typewriters. I had an old typewriter that I used for college that it missed. When you hit the F, it would not print the F. You would print the Q, it would not print the Q. So I had to go work in the field. So I worked all of 83, and part of 84, I worked whatever I could get a job. El rebote, bunching onions, manojeo, plumbing, carpentry, landscape, whatever I could do to make a buck, to make a dollar, make a living, I did for a year and a half. And I had my license hanging on my wall, but I couldn't get a client. I couldn't get anybody to hire me in the legal field.
And at this time we are living in
Carrizo Springs. Go ahead.
So while I was preparing these questions, I thought of this one, and I think it's important. I don't know if there is an answer, but I was curious to ask you. I think each of us hits a situation one day where we feel like, man, I need to do something different. I need to do better. And back then in the 1980s, did you have a pivotal moment that made you feel like maybe you were failing or just not doing enough?
Yeah. One of the darkest, the most darkest is I had to take it to the doctor. I didn't want to borrow any money. I didn't want to ask for any money. I couldn't take you. And when we did have the money to take it to the doctor, I didn't have the money to buy your medicine. So it took me a while to be able to get it. So I started hustling, man. Let me cut a yard, let me do whatever so we can have the $5 to pay for your medication. I promised myself $5. Promised myself that was the last time that was going to happen to me.